back from the gardens with all of my fresh and beautiful produce, and I'm so excited to get started and play around in the kitchen. I got really inspired to do sort of a twist on a classic lasagna, so I'm gonna be doing my fresh lasagna that utilizes all of those beautiful fresh textures and garden flavors. Fresh zucchini to kind of mimic the pasta by slicing it really thin, fresh heirloom tomatoes, some roasted cherry tomatoes, and then a denser pesto, which is a classic Italian sauce of just pine nuts or walnuts if you prefer, Parmesan or any other hard Italian cheese you like, garlic, which is key. Perfect. And now I'm gonna add basil leaves. This is so key to the entire recipe. It just smells beautiful and has that really great garden fresh flavor. I'm gonna start drizzling some olive oil into it as well. I am not shy about seasoning, so I'm gonna start with a pinch of salt and then an equal amount of pepper. Oh, that smells so good. Super simple, and it definitely is a little more than we're gonna use. The great thing is pesto freezes really well. You can save it for later. So I'm going to slice my heirloom tomatoes. And all that heirloom means is it's a tomato that's been grown from the seeds of years prior and in very small batches, so they have really good texture, beautiful flavor, and lots of variety like we saw at the gardens. Next, I'm going to take my beautiful zucchini, slice it down the center, because then it's really easy to use on the mandolin. A mandolin is actually pretty easy to track down. I have found them in the home goods aisle of my local supermarket, so you could probably find one there. And the trick with a mandolin is you kind of want to bear claw your fingers so that you keep them protected as you go. And go slow at first. If you're not paying attention, you could hurt yourself, and nobody wants that. The mandolin will thinly slice the zucchini so it's similar to a pasta. You can see right here, it's about the thickness of a pasta you'd get in lasagna, and that's the idea. It's kind of acting like our pasta. I've taken my tomatoes out of the oven, and all I did here was have some cherry tomatoes, toss them in a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and I put them face up on a parchment paper and stuck them in a 425 oven and cooked them for about 20 to 30 minutes. Because we're using so many fresh ingredients, you don't want it to taste like a salad. And using roasted tomatoes really brings in that cooked flavor that adds so much to it. Now I have everything ready to start layering my lasagna. I like to overlap them a little bit just so that when you cut through, they're not so separate. Next, I'm gonna add our pesto. This also acts as a really good glue to get the rest of your lasagna stuck together in a good foundation. This is definitely a really rustic dish. Next, I'm gonna add some layers of tomato, another layer of zucchini. Now, I gotta add all of my beautiful roasted tomatoes. This is probably my favorite part of the dish. We're gonna sprinkle some basil onto this layer, and the fresh basil just adds such a beautiful flavor. So we're doing the last layer of tomatoes, and that same sort of rustic idea. It's supposed to look fresh and like it did just come straight from your own garden. A last little pinch of basil, whole leaves, the whole shebang. Hit it with a little bit of salt, fresh ground pepper, and then a drizzle of olive oil just to get some of that really delicious olive flavor in there. So there you have it, my fresh lasagna, my favorite way to eat garden vegetables. No dish with lasagna in the title is complete without garlic bread, at least to me. And what's a little different with this is I'm using roasted garlic rather than raw garlic. All I did was take some garlic cloves, put it in some aluminum foil, olive oil, pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, just left it in my oven at 425 for about 45 minutes next to the rosemary. I think it can sometimes overwhelm the flavor, so I just kind of keep it at a big pinch. And next is the chili flake. Same rule, if you love heat, you love spice, please add more. Next, the lemon zest. And the trick here, you don't actually zest the lemon, you lemon the zester. All you do is you take your lemon and you gently rub it against the zester. All you want is that really fine top layer of skin. It brings this really bright flavor so it doesn't feel super heavy when you eat it. All we have to do now is add our butter and mix it all together. So it's ready to pop in the oven, 350 for 10 minutes, just so everything gets nice and melted. And then you're gonna turn it to broil, and you have to babysit it. I cannot tell you how many times I have burnt my garlic bread. So you just watch it for a minute and two until everything is nice and golden brown.
Well, I'm so excited to share, I guess, your food with you. All right, here goes.
Yeah.
Wow, Claire, this is fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, great. I'm glad you like it.
You've done my produce justice.
Yay, I'm so happy. I'm sure you have a lot more zucchini laying around your garden now. I mean, what do you do with so much extra?
I love to shred it and put it into any baked good.
Oh,
so
yum.
chocolate zucchini bread is one of my favorites, also zucchini muffins, and you can also put it into a pureed soup. It's a good thickener in general for anything.
So I know with tomatoes, the rules, don't put it in the refrigerator, don't pick off any of the green parts. I mean, is it sort of similar with zucchini as well?
It is, I don't store zucchini in the fridge myself. I like to keep it out on the counter. Somebody told me that once, and I was like, it lasts for almost 2 weeks. So if you can pick zucchini that has a little bit of the stem on it, it will hold up a little bit better too.
I mean, you just see how important the quality of zucchini is in this dish. Because it's so fresh and in season, I could slice it super duper thin and keep it really sweet and kind of tender. Hopefully it should kind of have the texture of an al dente pasta.
It does, it's really perfect.
I'm so happy that you like it. And
this garlic bread is really amazing too. I want to eat the whole plate.
please go for it. I do not need that much garlic bread hanging around my house. But this is roasted, so we can still talk to each other after we eat it. Yeah.
So you roast the garlic ahead of time and then...
It's mostly just to keep it so super mild and sweet. And
God, I need to stop eating garlic really bread. Good.